pieces tonight. The first one is the Hebrides, Mendelssohn, also known as Fingal's Cave Overture. And the story comes about that Mendelssohn, unlike a lot of composers slash musicians slash performers, was not, he was wealthy. He came from a wealthy family. And so he could do pretty much anything he wanted to do. And if you have a life that has none of the stresses that most of us have, it frees you up a little bit. So he decided to do some traveling, and he went to Scotland. And in Scotland, he took a little boat trip. Actually, it wasn't a little boat trip, it was just a little boat. And he took a little boat trip to Fingal's Cave in the Hebrides. And he got seasick. He had no sea legs whatsoever. But when he got there, they anchored just at the mouth of this big cave, which is apparently just phenomenally beautiful. It's got, sparkling geodes and stuff like that. It's huge, and I'm pretty sure at one point or another he probably saw bats flying around too. But he got this feeling about it. And when he got home, he decided to write this piece. And it's just fascinating. It shows you the majesty, it shows you how it feels, and it's a 10-minute piece, and doing a big example of it would not be good, but I am going to, first of all, I gotta make sure this works.
It's cute.
It's a little speaker.
There you go. Thank you. I do that. I thank inanimate objects. And this is starts out in B minor. The first section is this. I'm sure he didn't write this on the trip. And in a moment, it will change keys. D major.
Instrumental pieces.
Okay, I don't want to play the whole thing for you because the piece is 10 minutes long. But That's the feel of it. It begins and ends in B minor, and in the middle is this gorgeous, juicy section of D major, where this is the key, but this is the relative major. For all you guys who are not familiar with music theory, B minor and D major are relative keys, and you can go from one to the other. And this is also what the jazz guys would call a JG modulation. Just go. That's what it's for. And that's Mendelssohn. Again, a lot of these composers died young, and Mendelssohn was one of them. I can't help but wonder what would happen if a Mozart or a Mendelssohn had lived to a ripe old age. I mean, I'm 79, and if I were really talented, I'd be doing great things right now. But
Excuse me, Beethoven died of over drinking, like maybe Brahms or Mozart. Chopin died of tuberculosis. What was the cause of death of Mendelssohn?
yeah, well, what was it coming?
Why did he die early? What disease?
I'm not sure.
Tuberculosis, probably.
Likely it's something like what they used to call consumption.
Consumption,
tuberculosis.
that's what I was
But,
gonna say.
likely, yeah,
Yeah, that consumption.
yeah.
Some infectious disease.
That's one of the things in which I do not wish to emulate these people. So, in any event,
And his last name was Mendelssohn something else. What was the one after Mendelssohn?
Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy, that was his
Bartholdy.
name.
It was Bartholdy.
Yeah. And
His
somewhere
grandfather.
in the middle of his life, he converted from Judaism, but he was born a Jew, and I guess it, I don't know, helped him with certain groups. I don't know. Okay, now, what should I do? Let's do the Rhenish. The Rhenish Symphony. The symphony. Well, hello there, Hart Holman.
Good evening.
Yes, excuse me. This gentleman is a primo violist with the DSO. Good to see you. 53 years. Holy crap.
Yeah, 52. 73.
Thank you.
And he's
53.
yes. I will never forget the time.
73, yeah.
I will never forget the time you sent me a comp. It had been an age since I've been to a concert, because concerts cost money, and I'm a musician, I don't have money. So
There you go, Mason.
it was the Symphony No. 3, the Beethoven Eroica. And I sat there, and I started to listen to it, all there, and I hadn't been to a live concert in a long time, and I started to weep. It was so beautiful. And thank you.
The slow movement too.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay, knock him dead, my friend.
Hey, man.
Okay, the Schumann, the Rhenish Symphony. I don't know how much you know about Schumann, but let me fill you in a little bit on him. He was married to Clara Wieck, Clara Wieck Schumann, and she was, quite frankly, every bit of the composer he was, but people tended to ignore her work. So, as a matter of fact, he moved to Dusseldorf, where he was going to be, this is the funny part, he was hired as the musician, the chief musician in that city. So they called somebody in and they said, hi, we're giving you a job, you're going to be the chief musician. So write stuff, conduct stuff, whatever, you know. And his wife was there too, and she played a concert for them, and they decided they were going to pay her. Because they figured, we bought the composer, I guess the wife comes for free. She did not like that. And I'm pretty sure she didn't play many concerts right after that. But Schumann also had serious emotional and mental issues through his whole life. And some of the things that did it for him, or to him, was that he hated to move. He wanted to be secure in his little town. But when he moved to the Rhineland, it was a little better for him, because they treated him well, they feted him, they had him write stuff, they had him conducting stuff, and that's when he wrote this third, the Rhenish Symphony, means like from the Rhine area. The Rhine River, the Rhineland, and all of that goes together, and he wrote this Rhenish Symphony. But unfortunately, it didn't help his emotional problems, because the Symphony Number 3, after about 2 years, a little more than 2 years, right after that performance, he went into an asylum because he was seeing things and, you know, I'm pretty sure that if it was nowadays, they might have been able to treat him better. But it just was not the case for him now. And about 2 years after the premiere of the Rhenish Symphony, he passed away in an asylum, which is such a shame. Now, the Schumann Rhenish, the first movement, oh, there's my mouse. The first movement. I'm going to play just a snippet of it because there are 5 movements. And so I don't want to necessarily spend the whole time listening to these things. The second movement is marked as a scherzo. Scherzo basically is supposed to be kind of up-tempo, you know, and a little lighthearted, and we're going to have some fun with it. And he wrote the title of it as, it never made it to the score, but he called it Morning on the Rhine. So that sounds, I like it because of the sounds of the waves. And that continues for a number of minutes, as you note on there. Okay, I don't want to play all that in, because what I want to do before we play the next movement is read what one critic said about this next movement you're going to hear right now. And the critic says, what follows is perhaps one of the most awe-inspiring things Schumann ever penned for orchestra. A vast symphonic canvas that seems to exist somewhere beyond the boundaries of time. Schumann originally gave the movement, composed with his imagination, a descriptive title, In the Character of an Accompaniment to a Solemn Ceremony. But apparently that was a lot of stuff to write in. So he just wrote it as Seriously. Fire Day. Let's fire it. I don't want to get too enamored of this because you're going to hear it out there in real life. And that real life, real performance is just, there's nothing quite like it. I mean, recordings are fine, but, and I know because at WRCJ we play recordings, that's what we do. But a live performance has the electricity. And the thing that it also has, and this is something that a lot of people aren't aware of, and part of the thing that gives it the zing it does is mistakes. People make mistakes. I remember my old choir director went to hear a performance by a pianist when she was in high school. And can't tell, that's a long time ago. Because I was in high school and she was in high school when she saw it. And there was a very wonderful pianist there. And he was playing, not sure exactly, I think a Beethoven piano sonata. And some lady sitting behind her said, "He's making mistakes." And somebody turned around and said, "Yes, he missed a few of the notes, but he got all the music." So there you have it.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question if you don't mind?
I mean, every part, yes.
There are so many women on this earth. Why did Johannes Brahms have to go after Schumann's wife? Why?
Brahms was not good with women. He was not, he was shy, and he had been with Schumann's wife as a friend and a co-writer and stuff like that. And the propinquity, I love that word, the propinquity they
That's
had
great.
made him feel like he needed to express it, and she wasn't interested. And that was sad for him, that he couldn't have found himself a lady who would, kind of be the encouragement that he needed. But she was dedicated to Schumann.
So after Schumann died, she never.
Schumann died.
After he died, Clara never took Brahms. After death of
He
Schumann.
No, I don't think
unrequited
so.
love. That's why he's.
I can't
yeah.
say for sure.
That's why he wrote
But I
great
don't
music.
think so. Okay, the seventh one. This is the penultimate movement. I love big words. By the way, that reminds me of a phrase. If you've been around Detroit for any length of time, I mean, Pat McElroy was a dear friend of mine at WQRS. Pat McElroy was just a great guy, and he loved big words too. And he said, he used this phrase, sesquipedalian rhodomontade, which sesquipedalian means dancing around the point. And rhodomontade is using big words. And so his total phrase was, to use the phrase sesquipedalian rhodomontade is in and of itself sesquipedalian rhodomontade. Excuse me, I just had to tell Pat's story. Thank you, Pat. No, we called him Pat, but anyhow. Okay, let's see. The last movement, oh yes. With the finale, again, this is another critic. I don't consider myself a critic, I'm just a music lover. With the finale, the animation of the first movement returns. Schumann emphasizes rhythm and clarity of articulation. Here we go. This is the final movement of the Schumann Rhenish in Symphony No. 3. Okay, you don't want too much of that, because actually, I never thought this would happen. We're actually running up against the clock here. Next, the Dvorak Cello Concerto, which I reckon, I want to say this again, because for the people who weren't here. My favorite recording of that is on YouTube with Yo-Yo Ma playing the cello. Not only because he plays beautifully, but the way he relates to people and his audience, the conductor and the other players. He would turn around and go, when he wasn't playing, and say, yeah, keep that up, that's good, I like what you're doing. And he's just a heck of a nice guy. So anyhow, that's not Dvorak. Dvorak, some little bitsy things about Antonin Dvorak. He wrote this piece for his friend, who was not only a cellist, but a composer himself. And you may have heard this person's name, Victor Herbert. Victor Herbert was the person for whom he wrote this cello concerto. And Victor Herbert was out there writing his own songs for operettas and shows like that. And but he wrote it for Victor Herbert, and he wrote it when he was in America, when they were both in America. And the reasons he came to America were manifold. Among them, and the parts we don't talk about as much, even though they're fine, Antonin Dvorak came over because he knew that if he were touring the country, he would have to ride in trains, and he loved trains. He liked being on trains. He could ride anywhere, but he liked being on trains. And although he never had a chance to exercise this in time, he also, he raised and used pigeons. He had a pigeon coop, and he never did it in the United States, but when he was over in his homeland, he kept pigeons. I don't know why that's important. I just think it's interesting. So now, both in the Dvorak Cello Concerto, both the very beginning and the very end are self-contained pieces that do not have the cello in them. So you're going to be listening to a few minutes of the orchestra kind of showing off. Thank you very much. And at the end, this is something that always amused me. Here's, in this case, Yo-Yo Ma sitting there with a cello, and he's done. He's done. But he's listening to them, and they're having fun, and he was having fun, and it's just great. I want to be fascinated to see how this young cellist plays today. I'm sure he'll get the notes right and everything. But I have a feeling that in every situation, I know because I was one of them, you do a different performance when you're young than when you're older. Yeah, they're doing the warm-up now. Now, the first movement, like I say, we're gonna play the first movement, and I don't know how long it's gonna be before the cello comes in, but it certainly isn't right away. Come on, you can do this. And at a given point, the orchestra stops and he's got his solo, all by his lonesome. They're all saying, this is a cello concerto, right? There's one section, by the way, in which later on in the piece, where he's playing, his cello's playing, and Schumann decided to have him accompanied with, along with the strings, with 3 French horns. And they were worried, he's not going to drown him out. No, he wrote it very sensitively. You'll be able to see and hear the French horns backing him up. I don't know if I got enough of this piece to get the cello entrance. Same main theme.
What key is the key? What key?
The cello, that's right, yes. I do believe it's in B minor.
B minor.
Oh, there you go. That's as much as I recorded. Yeah, it's in B. There are 2 pieces in B minor here, and this kind of breaks a rule that I always had. I was told by my professors at Wayne State University. And they say, if you do too many pieces all in the same key, people get psychologically bored. So that's why the the Hebrides is B minor, and the cello concerto is in B minor, and they're right next to each other. But I'm pretty sure in this case, it'll be okay. Okay, now, the second
First one
movement.
is short.
What time is it? How we doing?
It's
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
6:58.
Give you a few more minutes.
6:58.
I have the time. This
We
is
were
good.
around.
He wants those 2 minutes, I can tell.
I'll tell you what I'll do. The second movement is almost, let me just play the last movement here. That's, again, that he's playing his storm up, but at the end, he just stops and the orchestra finishes up for him. You know, that's it. I think it's pretty cool myself. But, and also bear in mind that, so three things. First of all, the middle movement is, oh heck, let me play just a few notes from the second movement. Picture all of this coming from a man who is going to die in an asylum 2 years after the performance.
No.
Schumann.
It's
Oh,
Schumann.
oh wait, that's right. Where am I? I'm listening to the wrong
Dvorak.
piece. Forgive me, thank you. I know, I'm terribly disappointed. Me too.
It's an out of piece experience.
So that's very gentle and sweet. But actually, it applies also to the real Schumann piece, which is my mess up. In any event, I always stop before we send you out into the audience and ask if there are any questions.
I have two questions. Number one, his name it spells D-V-O-R-A-K.
Uh-huh.
Dvorak. Where does J come from?
That's Bohemian. That's part of the language. The Dvorak. That's what that little is for.
Oh,
Yeah.
that. And then some times ago, I was listening to radio, and they said that four greatest cellists of all time: Mstislav Rostropovich, number one; Daniel Shafran, number two; Pablo Casals, number three; and Yo-Yo Ma became number four. You prefer Yo-Yo Ma to Rostropovich performing this, the Dvorak?
It's a different approach.
Yeah.
Rostropovich is far more serious. He's probably one of those guys who you didn't hardly see much because he was practicing. But Yo-Yo Ma developed a love for working an audience. And gee, I kind of like people like that because I'm kind of like that myself. But that's the thing. You get the notes, you get the feeling, you get everything, and then it's not complete until you share it with an audience. And that's the thing. Everybody has their role in a classical music performance. The performer has the need and the desire to work it up so it's played right and everything is good, and yes, and then, okay, but can I get it to fit with the orchestra? Yes, you can get it to fit with the orchestra. That's an extra step. That takes it into the second dimension. But then the third dimension is when you're in front of an audience. And believe me, I just got done singing an opera, and they always say to people, well, you got to do that. Wait a minute, when do I get in front of the audience? Because that's what opens me up. And just what can I say? Anyhow, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And is there anything else? Yes?
I noticed a lot of the composers, they didn't live long lives.
That's correct.
Was it just because of the time, or?
Yeah, part of it is the time. People didn't live as long back then. You know, like for instance, me, I'm 79, and I've had 2 hips replaced, and a valve in my heart, the aortic valve, and a stent, and now I'm working on a hearing aid thing. I mean, if you were back in that day, all those things would not be available. And at least the 2 things they did to my heart would have killed anybody back then. So,
How is it that you only look 50 now?
I'm sorry.
I said, how is it that you look only 50 now?
There you go.
I like this guy.
They say that this is not part of the music, but I read in New York Times that President Reagan and President McKinley, when they got gunshot, exactly the same spot. They couldn't save McKinley because of the time, 100 years ago, but they could save Reagan very easily.
Yeah, there you go. The miracles of modern medicine. So, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Get a nice, thank you for recording it. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
You have to send it to him.
How are you doing?